Good morning. I'm Sarah, the Real Simple Mama. We're out here with some girls that are just kind of being lazy in the sun, but our video today is going to give you sort of a tour of the different chicken watering systems that we have used over the past few years, what we like, what we don't like, and what we're using now, and why. So good morning, I hope you're well. This video is going to be some different clips showing you the different ways that we've had watering systems out for our backyard flock. We've had chickens, oh man, over 5.5 years now. We've had a small backyard flock. And by watering system, I mean, we wanted to have multiple zones where the chickens can come and get a drink, where the water stays clean, where we're not dealing with mold, mildew, algae, any of that nasty stuff. And here's why. We love our chickens. We want to be out with them on a regular basis, just sitting here in the sunshine with them, right? Watching them and making sure everybody looks healthy. They're eating, drinking, doing normal chicken stuff. But we aren't full-time farmers. We both work out of the house. We have young children. And as mean as it sounds, we have a life outside of our backyard chickens as well. So of course we want them to have a good quality of life. But at the same time, I need a watering system that doesn't have to be checked on twice or 3 times a day. I need it to hold at least 3, 4, 5 gallons of clean water. And ideally we have at least 1 or 2 of those stations throughout our chicken run. So we've always had a flock of between 6 and 8 hens. Tick, 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 ticks. And we're in South Central Texas. So we need to make sure that, like I said, they've got good, clean water. Right, Gracie? And so we've used different systems in the past. Now, unfortunately, the first system that we had, I can't show you because we don't have that set up anymore. But we designed a watering system out of PVC pipe. You can see it here in my YouTube channel. I have a whole playlist on coop design and things we've done to like modify the coop kits, because we've always had a coop kit like this for our small flock. So the first one that we designed was essentially a big round PVC pipe that's on the outside of the coop, had a cap on it, and that's where you would fill it up with your hose. The whole thing held a couple of gallons of water, and then you use an elbow joint and you start making it from a larger diameter PVC down to a narrower, and it would have a little cup at the bottom that was basically another PVC cap, like a 4 or 5 inch cap that we just screwed upside down. It was good for holding water. We had it go through the hardware cloth in a way that the coop was still pretty secure, right, Lacey? But we did have problems with mold and mildew. And then of course, if your chickens are messy eaters or they're digging around in there, because it was just a big open cup, it was getting stuff in it. So that was our first system that we used from like 5 years ago. It's better than nothing, but it certainly wasn't ideal. And unfortunately, because the water system started on the outside of the coop, but then eventually ended up on the inside, if I needed to get to the inside cup to clean it, of course, that was really inconvenient for me. And it was also a permanent setup. It was zip tied and screwed into the coop itself, so taking it off to clean it was a big pain. So it wasn't too long before we decided we wanted to use food grade plastic buckets. Now, when you're buying plastic buckets, you can get them at hardware stores, Tractor Supply, farm stores, supply stores, you know, things like that. But you need to make sure that it's, first of all, made out of food grade plastic. And then you have to be really careful with the drill bits that you're using. Here's one right here. And this system is not working super well for us. Now, there are different types of drinkers you can put in. You can see the one on your left is leaking. So this is a 5-gallon food grade bucket. A couple of things to be aware of, and then I'll go into some other different systems. A couple of things to be aware of. First of all, like I said, you have to be careful with the drill bits, that you don't crack the bucket, that you're really careful getting the exact diameter. These are little drinkers. I'll put this Amazon affiliate link down in the video description. These did come with the drill bit size that you needed, but we've had problems with them leaking in multiple places, and I'll show you in the next clip what's going on with these. The other thing is you have to be careful with the vacuum of the bucket. Of course, you need to cover the bucket so that it doesn't get junk in there. You don't have a chicken jump in there and then drown because they can't get out, but you have to be careful that you're not locking the lid down tight if there's no other holes, because then it's going to create a vacuum and the chickens may not be able to get water out. So these are the little cup drinkers. The way they work is, you can see they're faded with the sun, but it's a red cup that sits there and doesn't move. The chickens are, if it's not leaking, the chickens are supposed to poke at or peck at the little yellow drinker that's in there, and that thing wobbles and then the water is able to come out of there. As you can see, they are going to get dirty on a regular basis. You do have to clean them out. And we've had problems with, depending on the bucket or depending on which of these drinkers we've bought from 2 different companies, they can either leak. I'm going to try to get my finger in the shot. They can either leak from where the black comes out of the bucket, they can leak from the cup itself, or they can leak from that little yellow drinker. So we've tried replacing these multiple times. We've bought, I don't know how many buckets, at least 3 or 4 over the years, and replaced them with the new drinkers. We take the whole drinker assembly off and clean it out thoroughly, and then we put it back on. But we have problems with this leaking constantly. Now, these are 5-gallon buckets, and if a whole 5-gallon bucket is going to leak out within a day or two, that's defeating the purpose of it being convenient for me. So like I said, I will put the affiliate link down below if you'd like to look into them. They're not expensive. They come with, like, you know, at least 8 or 10 in a box. So they are affordable. And then, like I said, you can get a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. Around here, that's about $5 or $6, I would think. Home Depot, Lowe's, Tractor Supply, that kind of thing. So we did have luck for a while, but lately it's like no matter what we do, going back to square one and troubleshooting everything, we're still just getting them to leak. And because we were integrating new chickens, I needed at least 2 or 3 watering stations. This just isn't working for us well anymore. Before I go on, I'll let you know also, you can always leave, as I move around a little bit, you can always just leave open bowls of water like that I have in that gray bucket there. Of course, that one I'm using to catch the water that's leaking so that the chickens have a backup, because this water is leaking 5 gallons over 2 days. But I will say you can just leave open containers of water that, you know, just a bowl or a pan or a tray. I would say a couple of things. Obviously, there's going to be more risk of that getting either mosquito larvae in it, you know, mosquitoes laying their eggs in it, or it just getting junk in it from the chickens digging around, from leaves falling in it, you know, from anything. Also, if you're going to do that, I would say don't have the water deeper than 2 or 3 inches, because you don't want, especially if you've got baby chicks on your property, you don't want them to fall in and not be able to get out and they drown. So just be mindful of that. I do have a swimming pool. You can see in my warmer month videos, because like I said, we're in South Central Texas, I do have a swimming pool out for my chickens. It's another source of water, but I always have these other ones as well. When I leave out the swimming pool, yeah, my chickens drink out of it, but really it's for them to stand in and get cool. I can also easily put ice in it. I can put treats in it. I can put, you know, frozen berries and things like that. You can even buy like feeder fish that are still alive and put that in for your chickens. But the key is, if you've got big open trays of water, you've got to clean it on a regular basis to make sure it doesn't get junk in it. And of course, you don't want it to be really deep. This is one of the ones that I'm using. I will have the Amazon affiliate link in the video description. This one holds at least 5 gallons. I don't remember the name of it right now because the sticker has come off. This one's really great. It's huge, it's heavy duty, but you can see I just filled it up and it's auto filling the ring, which goes all the way around. I have some clear or some hollow plastic balls that I have floating in the top, so it's easy for me to see what the water level is. This one is particular because you have to get exactly the right tightness up here and on the little valve or the little spout at the bottom, so that you don't create a vacuum that you don't want, but that it fills the ring all the way around. The other thing I've noticed is that if I don't check in it for a couple of days, you want to have it somewhere where your chickens can't necessarily dust bathe or get junk in there, and the water does evaporate out of this one. So this is one of my favorite choices right now. Again, we're not bothering making anything out of PVC pipe anymore. We're not bothering making anything out of 5-gallon buckets where we're drilling holes. So this is one of the ones that I like. I do have one of these, and then I have another one I'm going to turn around and show you. The other problem with the one that I'm showing you right now is that this one was expensive. It was like $45 or $50. And I've looked on a whole bunch of different vendors, you know, Tractor Supply and Amazon and other places online, and that's what you're going to pay for it. So that kind of stinks, and I know it seems a little ridiculous, but again, you know, I want my chickens to have fresh water. I want it to be able to stay clean. I don't want to have to come out and fill it every day because we have 2 young kids and we work full time. So hopefully this one-time purchase will work well for us, but I know that's a lot, you know, like for something that holds water. The other one that I'm using can be used 2 different ways. This one can be hung up, but I'm using it in here. Hi, Lace. Now this one does use the drinkers that I was talking about before, with the little cups and the little, like, they're called the little nipples, the little things that the chickens peck at. Shh. This is another one that I will put the affiliate link. This one holds, I want to say this one holds 3.5 gallons. It is a top loading one here too. There's those little balls, which I'll also put in the Amazon affiliate links on the description, just so I can see from a distance where the water level is at. This one can be hung. What stinks about it is you buy it already assembled. Lots of complaining this morning. You buy it already assembled, but the drinkers are on this side and it opens from that side. So you have to kind of think about, where am I going to put this? I thought about putting it outside my chicken run so that just the drinkers like stick through and I could fill it from the outside. But I was afraid those things were going to get jostled around and either crack the plastic or start leaking. So I'm actually not hanging it. I'm having it here. Tick, 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 tick. But it's the same style that they're used to. You know, they peck at the little nipples or the little drinkers that are in the inside, and it fills up the cup. Again, you don't want to tighten this all the way because it can create a vacuum. So it's closed so that nobody can jump on here or anything like that. There's not going to be junk getting in there, but it's not completely sealed. And this one, I believe, was around 35 or 40 bucks. So again, I mean, we're paying a lot more money. I think I'm sick of spending $5, $10, or $15 at a time for something that's not going to work. So we said, you know, let's spend the money for hopefully something that's going to be a solution for a while. So now between this one and the other drinker that I just showed you, we've got 8.5 gallons of water for 7 chickens. So we're set. I do still come and check it almost every day, but in case something happens, you know, we had a bout of COVID in our house not too long ago. In case we go and travel for the holidays, we can have all of these things filled up and we can trust that they're not leaking all over the place.